Bob Longfellow here, interrupting this live broadcast of When Pandas Attack to bring you this Channel 4 Action News breaking story. We have a serial killer on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, as a third body was discovered moments ago. 4-year-old Susie Glorita stumbled across the badly decomposing remains tucked away under some bushes at the edge of Centennial Park. Upon notifying the authorities, the young girl was taken into custody. She had no business being alone in the park and is being held overnight for being naughty. As for the body, it was identified as one Gladys Tritefoot, a tough old bird, fearlessly pushing 87. She was found stripped of her jewelry and her personal belongings. The method of her demise is similar to the previous 2 victims found over the past 6 weeks. This confirms what many of us have feared: the city's very first serial killer is on the prowl. We turn now to Barry Chippendale, live on the scene.
Hello, Bob.
Hello, Barry. Do the police have any leads on these horrific crimes?
They haven't been able to turn up anything solid yet, but they feel a break in the case is coming any minute now.
Thanks for the update, Barry. What started as seemingly excessive muggings have now turned to 3 murders in a row. Sources close to the case say that the victims' bodies were found as ground-up piles of flesh and blood. In short, I'm disgusted. So who is this blood grinder? A mad man? A mad woman? To help us get to the bottom of this is world-renowned psychotherapist Dr. Eric von Baschi. Dr. Baschi, what are your feelings on these horrific crimes?
Well, Bob, what's interesting about this whole ordeal is the fact that the victims were found without a single item on their bodies. Anything of value had been stripped from them. Now, only an individual in desperate need would take anything and everything he could find.
So you're saying the killer is homeless?
Oh, that would be an obvious guess. However, the method of killing debunks such a theory, as what homeless person would go to such skilled levels of the macabre? No, this is a well-educated individual who knows his way around a piece of meat.
So a porn star, then?
Once again, an obvious choice. However, if that were the case, surely there would have been at least one satisfied onlooker? No. Whomever the culprit is has a complete distaste for human life.
So the killer is pro-choice?
No.
There you have it, folks. When wandering the streets, steer clear of the homeless, adult bookstores, and liberal women. We here at Channel 4 Action News will bring you the story as it develops. Until then, I'm Bob Longfellow, bringing my action to you.
Hi everybody, welcome to the very first Blodcast. My name is Dave Conti. I am the co-writer, co-director, co-producer, and editor of The Blood Grinder.
I am Matt Bronsdorf. I play Ronnie America in the original film and in the new film, and I am the producer and co-writer of the project as well.
I'm Nick Schwartz, co-writer, co-director, co-producer. Most of you don't know what The Blood Grinder is, which is good. This is an opportunity to learn about it, so just give you a brief history of how this project came to be, I guess. Dave and Matt were seniors in 2007. We all went to film school together, and I was a junior. And I guess it was around that time I was reading somethingawful.com, which is a great satire website for those of you who don't know. The Blood Grinder was an entry in this part of Something Awful's site called the AMDB, the Awful Movie Database, which is like the database of a number of feature films that have never and will never and should never be made. But one entry was called Wes Craven Presents The Blood Grinder. We sort of latched onto it. It was hysterical. We couldn't stop laughing. And, you know, just like the old IMDb pages, there's a link to view the trailer. And when we clicked on it, there was no link. It did not lead anywhere. And we figured that we had the opportunity to perhaps make a trailer to this film.
That's kind of how it all started.
Yeah.
And me and Nick, we had the idea to co-direct this fake Grindhouse trailer for The Blood Grinder. We did a completely different story from what they had on their page. Theirs was about, I think, Nazi puppeteers.
Yep.
And ours was just nothing like that. It was more like just an action film straight up. And it was a pretty good success at our school. It was, you know, people liked it a lot. People were quoting it, which is really, really fun to hear. The response was really good. So from there, we said, all right, well, now we gotta make a film out of it. So we set about writing it with our friend Andrew Stockwell, who helped us write the first draft of the script, and who also was acting in the feature, but we can get to that in a bit.
So obviously we had this short film, this little trailer of The Blood Grinder, and we wanted to expand upon that idea. So what the ultimate story of the Blood Grinder ended up being is the main character, Ronnie America, has just come home after his wedding with his bride, Miss America, and to consummate their marriage, they of course begin coitus. Sex, as they say on the streets. Now, unbeknownst to them, there was a serial killer on the prowl, known as the Blood Grinder, and while they were in the middle of their lovemaking, the Blood Grinder entered their home and literally takes Miss America off of Ronnie while they were in the middle of sex, and basically kills her. So then the rest of the film is, as you would see in most revenge action movies, Ronnie America, this one crazy, out-of-control vigilante, goes on a manhunt to try and find the man that killed his wife. And along the way, he runs in with the cops, which are Detective Thompson and the Rookie, and all of them join up with a prostitute who has a heart of gold, whose name is Memory Jones, and the four of them get together to take down the Blood Grinder.
Essentially, how this thing, kind of ended up was we had a nice little release at our film school.
There were 2 packed showings.
2 packed showings, yep. And then from there, we actually had a screening at a little art house theater in Connecticut that Matt managed to cobble together. So we had a great product that we were all pretty satisfied with. Once all was said and done, we just wanted to give the movie the treatment it deserved, which we weren't unable to do at the time. We were post-grads. We all had our own, we were all working retail jobs, I think. We had to work around our work schedules. We had very little money, not much equipment, and for what we had and for what we used, I think we did a damn good job, and we were pretty proud of what a feature film for $900. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and audiences love the movie.
Yeah,
totally love the movie. I remember after we premiered in Bank Street a couple weeks later, I was at a pizza shop, and some kid I didn't even know, I asked, can I get like a large cheese pie for $20? He's like, for Ronnie America, I'll give it to you for free. And it was surprising that people that I didn't even know were loving the movie and remembered it enough to, be passionate about it.
Yeah. So now we're at this point in our lives, we're a few years out of school, we all have jobs in the film industry, we're all doing what we love to do, and we've taken the last 2.5 years to really revisit the script, retool it, and write it without any budgetary restrictions, without any sort of limitations at all. And it's what we feel is a definitive Blood Grinder. This is the version that should be made.
The idea now is launch this Kickstarter campaign, and realistically, we obviously know, especially given what we wrote, without any budgetary limitations, that we're not gonna raise probably the money we need for a feature from Kickstarter. But what we thought we could do was raise enough money to make a short film, and then in turn use that short film to show to potential investors. But we didn't just want to make a short film to show them that we could make a short film. We wanted to at least keep it within the Blood Grinder universe. So we're making, essentially, this short film is a prequel to the feature that we will eventually make.
So we're following the model that has become the norm in the last few years with films like Tron Legacy and with the Mortal Kombat series and a few others. Saw, where basically those filmmakers knew that they weren't going to get very far based on just who they were. They needed to prove themselves. So they made these short films with full production value to say, listen, at the end of the day, the movie that you invest in, this is what it's going to look like. And that's what we're doing with this short film. We want people to know exactly what they're buying into when they invest in our feature film.
Cost of production has come down so much with digital equipment and stuff that we feel really confident we can make a short film that's going to look as good as the feature. So instead of taking this $15,000 and stretching it over 90 minutes, we're going to devote every penny to every frame of a 10-minute short.
Ultimately, the goal is for audiences to see who Ronnie America is as a character, see me as Ronnie America, and also see what these guys can do as savvy action filmmakers.
So now that we're doing these Blodcasts every week for the duration of this Kickstarter campaign. Every Wednesday we're going to update you guys with the progress of our campaign, of pre-production on the short, and just in general how things are going in Blood Grinder Land. We're working our asses off.
Blood Grinder Land.
That's gonna be our theme park when this is all said and done.
We'll be the Walt
This entire process is really just about merchandising.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. It's all about the money, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I lost my thought. I'm on Blood Grinder Land now.
I know.
The news reports that started the campaign. In fact, the very first episode of the news report that you just saw, we're going to be opening every episode of the Blodcast with that. And what that is each one of those news reports, those breaking stories, fills in the 6 years that lead up to the feature film that we've written so far.
Right.
In the first film, there's not much of a backstory as to who the Blood Grinder is and how many people he's killed. We filled that information in with the first script, but we figure why not have a little bit of fun with what we have around us, and let's give you guys that story. Let's let you see what happens up till page 1 of our script.
The next part of our blogcast, which we're going to do every week, is we're calling the edutainment section, in which we are going to all discuss the films that inspired us in making The Blood Grinder. And the first film on our edutainment list is arguably the best film of all time.
Arguably.
Commando.
Widely considered the best film of all time.
Just a completely ridiculous action film, which is what we have set to do from day one with The Blood Grinder. It definitely shares that aspect of it in many ways, but I think one of there's a few key differences, obviously, which we're trying to make the characters a little more fleshed out in our version, in our film, whereas in Commando it's just like, I'm a commando, I'm gonna kill 80 people.
Yeah.
And then his sidekick, the annoying, her character is not really anything.
Yeah.
And so one thing they do share in common, though, is that both the Blood Grinder and Commando, both the heroes have female companions. Whereas whatever her face is in Commando, I don't know her name.
Ray Dawn Chong.
No, her character name.
Oh, I don't even know.
Whatever her name is,
tell you in a minute.
Memory Jones is a really smart character. We've
She plays a part of feisty stewardess.
and that pretty much says it all right there.
Feisty stewardess.
We could rename Memory Jones to Smart Hooker, but that would not do her any justice. So, we're trying to make it so that she's not just a hooker with a heart of gold. We want to make her smart and pretty much smarter than the rest of the characters in the film, in the Blood Grinder, obviously.
Yeah. The other key comparison is that Ronnie America and John Matrix, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, similarly, they're kind of the same character. John Matrix doesn't give a shit about right and wrong or the law. What matters to him is saving his daughter at all costs. So he gets in, he'll get in run-ins with the military, with the police, and it doesn't matter to him. And it's actually interesting to point out that he doesn't kill anyone who's good. If there's a cop, if there's a security guard, yeah, he'll probably knock them out or break their leg or something like that, but he never kills them, which is exactly what Ronnie does.
He'll probably ruin their lives, but he won't end them.
Yeah, he won't end them. Whereas if you're an overthrowing dictator, he's going to shoot you 17 times with a shotgun to save his daughter. So that's a comparison between the two films that you guys will see in the ultimate product.
I think a key difference being that we are purposely making Ronnie a very kind of an unknown figure. We don't go into his backstory. We don't know why he's such an awesome bicep-laden hero.
He doesn't really have a history. Picture Ronnie he was born as a 30-year-old man, and
with huge biceps.
Huge biceps.
And just he came out of the womb eating steak, and that was it.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah, no one in the film knows who Ronnie America is or where he came from, as the audience would be completely unknown to who he is. So therefore, as the movie goes on, you don't know what he's capable of. He's always surprising to you because you don't know anything about him.
So, thank you for joining us for week 1 of the Blodcast, and we will end this with your moment of awesome, which will be a clip from the movie we watched this week. And this week, again, Commando. So, enjoy your moment of awesome.
Enjoy. See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.